Hi again, Dr. Christensen at Core Wellness telling you a little bit more about plantar fasciitis and how you can recover from this at home. Now I've gone over a couple other videos, the plantar fasciitis soapbox and the number one thing to help plantar fasciitis. Also on our YouTube channel we have an old video of me going over the get out of bed stretch and some other strategies. However, those strategies in that video, one of the problems with that is it doesn't explain when you're doing, why you're doing it, and how it's helping you. And this is a concept, this video is on a concept that I believe is really helpful to help get over plantar fasciitis on your own. In the plantar fasciitis soapbox, we talk about how we look at interventions and we don't want to put too much emphasis on the name of the intervention, but we want to talk about what it's actually doing to help you and your tissues. When we get that, it's really easy to then transition over to figuring out what to do, how it's helping, when to do it, and why. And I call it the 24-hour cycle when it comes to plantar fasciitis. Now, if you're going to get over this on your own, you need to learn self-management strategies. And that's why we put so much emphasis on home care, because when we have patients that come in for plantar fasciitis, it's helpful to get them out of pain, but what's more important to us is to make sure that they know what to do going forward so that they don't become dependent on us or one of the modalities that we use in our office. We don't want them to become dependent on laser or shockwave therapy or buying orthotics over and over again or some expensive fancy shoe. To us, that seems like a waste of financial resources when you can learn how to care for your feet yourself. So we call it the 24-hour cycle, and we've emphasized getting out of bed properly using what we call the get out of bed stretch, and it's not really a stretch, but just a way of prepping the tissue to bearing weight. Now, the daily details in our class, we talk about how there's usually two different types of people who have plantar fasciitis, and what they do is different. So the daily details for one type of person is the person who's on their feet all day, okay? They have to be sensitive and acknowledge what they're doing to their feet all day and take breaks throughout the day, let their feet relax throughout the day, and then after they've relaxed, it's kind of like getting out of bed again. You need to re-prep the tissue before you go weight bearing. Now the other person is sedentary all day. They have a desk job and they're seated all day. That length of time when their feet aren't being used is similar to when they get out of bed. So before they go from their desk to their car or go from their desk to the bathroom or break room or whatever it may be, you're going to need to prep the tissue and the setting, whether you're on your feet all day. I'm thinking of a lot of our patients, pharmacists that are on their feet all day, or pharmacy tech workers that are on their feet all day, or warehouse workers when they're on their feet all day. You're probably not going to have an opportunity to lay on your back and do the get out of bed stretch, but there's things that you can do to adjust to that. So what you can do is grab a chair, do a stretch there, loosen up the back of the tissues on the back of the leg. When you get home, depending on your two different types of occupation, you're going to handle that differently. So in the soapbox, we talk about ice, and ice is helpful if you're having a lot of pain and inflammation. Now, ice isn't a standard that we recommend for plantar fasciitis patients, but the people who are on their feet all day and using those tissues, they're the ones that are going to want to ice probably at the end of the day. Now, if you're a desk worker and your biggest trouble doing your daily details is that you're sedentary and then you go to bear weight and it's just a big change, you're probably not going to need to ice at the end of the day. You're going to want to do a little bit of stretching, but also bearing weight a little bit, and only using ice if it's painful. Okay? And then before bed, you're going to want to do the get out of bed stretch again. Probably stretch the posterior chain and the hamstrings. You want to hydrate and make sure you're getting good healthy foods before you go to bed, but not overeating pro-inflammatory foods high in sugar, gluten, and some of those other things that we know contribute to inflammation. So then when you're in bed, your tissues in your feet are trying to recover, and then the cycle happens again. So you want to do the get out of bed stretch. But knowing the daily details and how to handle plantar fasciitis under your different circumstances is key to getting better. And once you have those down, you will see a consistent change the more consistent you are in doing them. When you get to the point of not having pain, that's when we need to go to the next step, and that's strengthening the feet. But we have to do it in a very conservative and controlled manner where you grade your improvement. And we'll do a whole new video on that because that's a completely different subject. And so if you need clarification on this, reach out to us, comment below, hit like, hit subscribe, comment below if you have any feedback for us. Doing the thumbs down thing really doesn't tell us what we need to do better. So just comment below and we will provide a respectful response and answer your questions. Thanks.